We have just over 1,000 miles to cover in our first big trip out with our Alliance Delta, and we don't have a solar system, so we're not exactly looking to boondock on the way up there. How exactly we're going to make an overnight stop without our solar and lithium package? Let's find out.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing.
Weekend warrior mode, engage. Because we have our first big trip in our Alliance Delta and we don't have a solar and lithium package in any capacity quite yet, we are going to change up how we do the overnight thing. Obviously, Cracker Barrels are kind of out, Walmarts are out, Harvest Host, Boondockers welcome, all of the above. We just don't have that, and I don't even have a generator yet. So if you bought an RV and it's bare bones, out of the factory, is how it is, how we're going to overnight tonight is a very reasonable way to get from point A to point B if it encompasses multiple travel days in a row. Also, this is actually our first time doing a trip where we had to load for an extended period of time. So that was an adjustment. As weekend warriors, part-timers, all of that stuff. If you're new to the channel, we full-time for a little over 3 years. And the last few months, we've switched that up. And now we are part-timers in this Alliance Delta that we absolutely love. We got it loaded last night. We're not going to bore you with that. We have videos over all of that so far. So this morning, we're just loading last-minute things, kind of toothbrushes and all that stuff from brushing our teeth. Eventually, we're going to probably double up on some of this stuff, but for now, we're not. So let's get this adventure rolling down the road. All right, checks are all complete, but there's one very, very important task that I have adopted. The dad check. I got to go to the house now and check all the locks. Locked. Extra locked. 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 We've made it to our very first fuel stop, and you go so much further when you're not towing a huge, like the Valor, I loved it to death, but it was a big boy. And this little guy, we made it almost 150, 200 miles further than we would have with the Valor, which is crazy to me. So how are we doing overnight stops now on longer distance drives? Like we have a 2-day drive ahead of us before we get to our final destination. But with this, because we don't have the solar lithium like I was talking about earlier, I also don't have a generator on board, so we're actually going to stay at a campground. But for this, we're going to do a Love's RV hookup. I've done them before. Lauren's, I don't think, ever done one. So we're going to get her take a little bit on that and see her opinion. But yeah, we're going to test that out. And we'll see. This is the RV hookup we're going to. Well, I'll show you when we get there. We're not too far away now. And we have made it. So we are overnighting at a Love's Hookups. Lauren's never stayed at any of these, and I've only ever done the Love's RV stops, which is more of like the RV park. The Hookups is literally like anywhere from 4 to 8 sites, right with the fuel pumps, as you can kind of see behind me. So I need to hook up. One thing that I've noticed a lot of these is they're sloped pretty severely from front to back. I have to come up like 3.5 inches, which means I'm probably going to have to come off the hitch. I don't really unhook anything else, but it's what I do, and that's why I wanted so badly to have an auto level, but also the manual level with the bubble, is because I can look at my screen and kind of do that all at the same time. I'm going to get level real quick, but that means I also have to get my wheel chocks out because I'm coming off of the ball so that I don't actually slide into my truck. Using our snap pad back there. Okay, so because of it, I got to come off the ball. And you can see how off we are there. So a big reason why I'll come off the ball here is because I don't want to pull up on the truck. And that goes for whenever you have whether it's a fifth wheel or a travel trailer. That's just kind of how it goes. I don't want to do anything that's going to damage the truck and put undue pressure. And you can see we didn't come off very much. And I'm got the parking brake on the truck attached, and I've got wheel chocks on the trailer. So I'm not going to unhook anything else. I'm literally just in the morning going to drop it back down, put the pin in, and then we're done. So here's another little disclaimer. Never, ever, 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 ever auto level when you're doing like what I'm doing. If you do that, there's a chance it can come down on your truck. You could slide out from it. A lot of bad things could happen. So never auto level when you're doing what I'm doing. Also, I'm a big proponent of keeping all the wheels on the ground. So I'm going to go check the right side because I had to come up like 3 inches. All right, I can't tell if they're off. They are not. Perfect. Okay, all I have to do is come up a little bit more in the front. Sometimes with this 3-way level, it might push it to the right a little too much, in which case I'll just retract that side and come down. Yep, and you can see the ball is a little too far to the right, so retract, right. It's like a little game, if you can see it. Okay, so when you're staying at a Love's truck stop, you are booking them online through a thing called Camp Life. If you go to Love's website, there's an RV locations, you pick it there. They do specify, again, stop is like the more campground with amenities. Hookup is just hookups kind of in the parking lot. But it's nice that they have it because we're only going to be here for, 12 to 14 hours. We're going to eat, sleep, get on the road in the morning, and finish off our drive to our next destination. So one other thing, though, is when you get here, you do have to go inside and check in because they have the power turned off until you do that. As soon as they hit you're here, they turn the power on, and then you can complete the hookup process. I am officially as hooked up as I'm going to be because I don't more than likely am not going to hook up sewer because we're not going to use that much water. And to be honest, this rig is so much lighter, we could use a little bit of weight forward. So yeah, I'm just not really all that worried about it. So let me show you the only other thing I did while I was off camera. So the only other thing is our blue stuff. Now, there's 2 foods of thought here. I used to leave that just in the storage bay, and then it leaked one time. I didn't hook it up right, and I didn't know that, and it took me a while to dry it out. That was in the Valor. So I'm going to leave it out here. I'll notice pretty quick if someone's there because our bed's right here, but you can see I've got our hose run up there. I still put the 3-way just because it's got the connection for the water pressure gauge. I use that every time. Don't care. So, and then on our power, the Power Watchdog as well. Okay, so ta-da! We're here. We're going to get the air conditioner on, get settled in, and get the pup settled in. But before we do, I'll just kind of give you a quick overview of the site and what all it actually includes. Okay, so there's the Delta. I'm on the non-camp side. In case you're curious, there's the highway. Typically, that's the case. It's always going to be right along a highway. But you can see we're in the last site of 6, so we're in site 6. There's 2 other coaches here. There's a Class C on the other side of that Integra Aspire, and then obviously them. You can see the main pumps over there, and then Love's itself. Guess we're having Arby's for dinner, and then kind of their regular parking. They also have propane fill, which just happen to be next to that. So, and then back behind the building over there, you can kind of see the truck lanes and all that. So, yeah, essentially with this, yes, I got a lot of Camco blocks, but that's just for ease of use. So, at the end of the day, it's a no-frills campsite, right? So if you notice on our campsite, I'm not even going to put my stairs down in the bedroom. It's so high up, I'm not going to worry about it. But you do get a table, a trash can that was bolted to the ground. Didn't know that till it was too late. And literally, you see the stripes here where you can't park. That's ours. And there's another site right there. So there's always a chance somebody could come in and use that. But yeah, it's just one of those things. So what's the appeal of something like this? Well, if you need hookups or electrical or water or any of those things, for me, it's a no frills, just let's go kind of a thing. it's, you don't, I'm not planning on spending multiple days here. Now, some of the RV parks or the stops, you probably could. I still wouldn't. I don't know why. I just wouldn't. But these, if you just need some power and you're kind of going from point A to point B and you need an overnight, perfectly fine. That's what I like to use them for. And because we don't have an onboard generator or a generator in kind at the moment, or a lithium system, see where I'm coming back to here, we want to be able, with the dogs and all that, to be comfortable. Now, it's going to be cool enough tonight that we probably could have boondocked somewhere and not need the AC, just kind of turned on or open up some windows, let it cool off, and then close them. It's actually get down to the 50s here tonight, which, by the way, we are in Cameron, Missouri, if you're looking for this particular Loves. Okay, small change of plans. Lauren was hungry. It is actually almost 6:30, something like that. So she actually went to go get some food. One of the reasons we actually like Loves is that typically after long drive days, the last thing I want to do is cook, and I'm the one that cooks dinner in our family. So I don't really want to. So we typically will just grab, I know it's bad, fast food or whatever just happens to be around. So she just walked over to the Loves Main because there's an Arby's in there, and we're going to do some roast beef for dinner. So we'll talk to her when she comes back. All right. Feast has been consumed. Mm-hmm. And
we're no longer hangry.
Well, and by feast, I mean Arby's. We did have the meats. So you've never stayed at a Love's.
Correct.
In this manner, at least.
Right. No, in any manner. I've not stayed at Love's overnight.
So what were some of your concerns coming into this?
I didn't know how close to traffic we would be. You know what I mean? I thought it would be loud and people coming in and out of the pumps and the convenience store and stuff like that. But so far it's been surprisingly quiet. And the other one I had was how do we get in the site? We're not a large rig anymore, but still, is it going to be maneuvering? Are they tight? That sort of thing. Okay. So now that we've been here, we've eaten, we've been here for about 30, 45 minutes, something like that. For sure. What's your first and initial thoughts? The spots were bigger than I thought they would be. There's a little table and everything. And
as a reminder, this is the Hookup side, not the stop. The stop is a full-fledged RV park. There's amenities. The sites are bigger.
It's not vice versa.
No, this is RV Hookup. Okay. It's literally, so Hookup is literally it's meant to just be a hookup, and that's really all it is.
So the spots are bigger. They're more, I guess, well appointed than I thought they would be. They're more level than several RV parks we've stayed at.
Some, but
anyways,
not super level.
But I'm just saying it wasn't rough. It wasn't like a gravel lot, and it was kind of but anyways, so there was that, and it's quieter than I thought it would be.
So I will say the quiet thing and all that, that's going to depend on location massively. Mm-hmm. So we are right, and I said this outside, we are right next to the highway. Mm-hmm. It's quiet now and the ACs are running. Yeah. But when those turn off, we'll probably be able to hear a little bit more. So
we're just going to freeze tonight. We're just going to let them run.
So, okay. So do you have any concerns going overnight?
No more than usual anywhere we boondock, right? The safety of the situation. So just making sure that there's nothing shady going on in the parking lot or anything unusual in that regard. Yeah. So here's the $1 million question. Oh boy. Obviously, we're Cracker Barrel enthusiasts. Mm-hmm. It's one of our favorite stops because of the ease of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So obviously we can't, we could do that if we chose to, but for now, what do you have a ranking in your head so far of if you prefer this or that? I think it depends on what rig you're in, right? Because the Cracker Barrels allowed us flexibility. So there was usually one just an hour or two down the road. So we could always just say, hey, we're feeling good. Let's go for another hour.
We also didn't have to plan.
Yeah. And so whereas this, we really had to plan, especially it's Memorial Day weekend. So if it's going to be busy, we wanted to go ahead and book a site. So I like the flexibility of Cracker Barrel. But I wonder if because of the lighting and the people around that, sometimes shady things happen at Cracker Barrels too. So I wonder if that would deter it here because there's kind of more visibility kind of thing. Maybe.
So now with all of that being said, you still have to sleep here.
We do. I was going to say, this is not a full report yet.
So this is obviously a two-sided thing. We're talking about this now post-dinner because I know we're going to wind down a little bit. I'm going to take a quick shower. We're going to change. That is the benefit of this, is I can take a full, long, hot shower if I want to.
You can.
Worst case scenario, I just get the sewer hose out and dump.
That's right.
Or not, depending on how long I take a shower. So with that, we're going to say goodnight, get some rest, and we'll see you guys bright and early in the morning.
It's true, we are.
That is Bailey's happy spot. The best part is she knows that the blanket means it's hers.
Yeah, she does.
Good, rainy, cool morning. I think the weather's perfect. Lauren thinks it's freezing. I slept okay. I'll let Lauren tell you how she slept. We went to bed really early because we were pretty exhausted, so I ended up waking up at like 4:30. Plus, the dogs still quite haven't figured out where they want to be for sleeping time in the RV. Also, because our bedroom's a lot smaller than it was in the Valor, because we don't have a slide and our bed's north and south, Mishka likes to come lay by the door and prevents Bailey from coming in at all. Even if Bailey could come in, still a little... I'm not 100% sure she would still fit or want to fit. So a couple of things that happened overnight. Obviously, sometimes there's floodlights in these parking lots, which is part of it. That happens at Cracker Barrels, Walmarts, all that. So if you're a light sleeper or you don't like light like me, check out one of our last videos. We did some upgrades. One of the things we did is we did some light blocking stuff in like our skylight that's in the bathroom and some other things. Okay. How was your night's sleep?
I didn't sleep terribly well, but that's nobody else's fault. I just slept lightly because we're in a new place, and I'm still kind of new to the rig. You've slept in it more than I have. But
2 nights.
But there was no like noise. There wasn't anything that was bothersome in any way. There were no trash trucks that came at 3 a.m., which was kind of a nice change of pace. So.
There's wild cards at Love's, but there's more, I'd say there's more wild cards at Walmart's, Cracker Barrels, those types of places, because they have services that come overnight.
Right.
Like you just said, the trash trucks. Here,
exactly.
I mean, yes, there's a chance the pumps are 24 hours that you get a motorcycle or something at 2 a.m, but
or a semi over in the truck lanes doing something kind of loud, but I didn't experience any of that.
Well, and even if it's cold outside, typically in these types of things, we'll even just run the fan on the air conditioner as white noise. And I kind of mentioned that earlier, so.
I would say the biggest issue has nothing to do with Loves. It completely has to do with the fact that Bailey can't get into the bedroom, so she sits outside and goes...
And I talked about that too in my little recap, because that's what woke me up this morning at 4 a.m. And then the tail wags.
But no, I kind of miss the flexibility of our boondocking with Cracker Barrel and stuff. But I thought this was a really good setup. Honestly, I'd do this again in a heartbeat.
If you have questions about Love RV hookups or stops, I've now stayed at both. You've only stayed at one of them. Just leave it in the comments below. We'd be happy to do that. And make sure and stay tuned for next week, because we're going to pick up, well, just right outside down there, because we're traveling. Not just shakedown trip with this RV, but we're actually traveling with it. So
Miller's in Motion is actually in motion.
All right. We didn't give up RV life. So, with that being said, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, Mom.
Now my wheels in motion and